Thank you so much, Nu, and welcome everyone to a new Potion community call. Today is a really special moment. It's the beginning of a new chapter, both for us as a team and for us as a community. And we're incredibly grateful and fortunate to be able to share this moment with you guys. Really hope that you will enjoy what we have in store for you. So in the prior calls, we spoke about the Kelly machine and the protocol. Today, it's all about how we make all that innovation available to the world. Today, it's all about Potion Unlock. And here's what we're going to cover in the next hour or so. We're going to start with what were kind of the design principles that were guiding us as we developed this. We're going to share with you the actual Web3 application that you can use to mint the NFTs all the way through to game completion. We're really excited to finally reveal the NFT designs and symbolisms that we've been holding secret for a long time. We will then go into the parameters that we built the game with around the different characters that are in the game. And then finally, we will go down to the specifics of the auction and the next steps. And like I say, guys, we've put a massive amount of energy, not just in this presentation, but in building everything that you're going to see. We did it with the best intention possible. We really hope that you will like it. And we wanted to start with our overall motivations and simply why are we here in the first place? And it's a really simple idea, which is that we're moved by the goal, the aspiration of contributing high quality public good services. And it feels like we're living through some special times where we have a special opportunity, a new opportunity to rewrite some fundamental services for society on top of an entirely new platform, a platform that's natively accessible to everybody, that it's reliable, trustless, and open by default, and that it's decentralized in nature. And we've seen already a lot of great services being built. And we feel that we have some interesting ideas in the specific field of insurance. We think that we can enable a new category of automated insurance services built on this new tech stuff. And so that's fundamentally what drives us. We think that this is good for kind of civilization, if you like. And it's what gives us energy to spend energy on this. And so with that in mind, what we created was the Kelly machine. It's named after John Kelly, the father of the Kelly criterion. And it's actually based on a really simple idea. It wants to take the basic fundamental design of Uniswap and bring it from the realm of swaps into the realm of risk. And you can think about it very simply as an application that you can install on Ethereum and that allows you to buy insurance products from it. It's really cool. It's based on a pretty phenomenal breakthrough, which is that you can actually synthesize the Kelly criterion on a bonding curve that looks like this, that basically looks as the hyperbolic cosine of the utilization of the pool of capital. And like I said, we already did a few calls where we went into some depth. We've also just released a white paper. So you're all invited to watch those videos, read the paper, and also just come talk to us. We hang out on Discord. We've been working on this for a long time. Would love to share the things that we've learned. But like I say, today, it's not about the Kelly machine. It's not about the specific contribution that we want to make. It's about how we actually make that available to the world, how we can contribute it as a Web3 public good service. And it turns out that if you want to do that, it's not so easy. And when we looked at what other teams are doing, we realized that they oftentimes face some pretty serious pitfalls. For one, in many cases, while the communities are broad, the power is actually concentrated down to a handful of people, which doesn't seem like it's in keeping with the ethos around decentralization. In addition, a lot of these services operate in environments that are unclear from a regulatory standpoint. It's not clear whether these teams need a license or not. And when you put these two things together, and for the particular case of insurance and derivatives, which is what the Kelly machine is about, it turns out that you end up taking massive, massive liability. So when we checked for our case, we learned that we're looking at potential penalties of over 3 years in prison and 50 million euro in fines. And so, as you can imagine, this feels like something that is not sustainable. We cannot rely on this paradigm if we want teams to really flourish and build top quality services. And so that's why we decided that it probably made sense to try and launch with a different mechanic. And we actually took on that exercise thinking that if we were able to resolve it, then it would be good not just for us, but for DeFi in general. And so these are the three fundamental principles that we were trying to accomplish simultaneously. We wanted a launch mechanism that lived by the ethos of decentralization and that was very much centered around community. We wanted to operate in a clear regulatory framework. We didn't want to go to bed with the fear of, will I end up going to jail? And we also wanted to do something that was sustainable for the long run, that allowed us as a team to continue writing software for the benefit of society. And it felt like this was a bit of a Rubik's Cube, something that was just difficult to accomplish simultaneously. But I'm happy to say that I think in the end, after much suffering and effort, we managed to get there. And we call it Potion Unlock. And I'm incredibly happy to reveal this now in full detail for you guys. So Potion Unlock is inspired on the Loot, and it shares a lot of its basic fundamental principles. It's an open-ended crypto economic game. So you basically get the cards to the game, and it's up to the players to decide how to play it. So on the one hand, you have the cards, and on the other hand, you have the game, and the game is free to choose by the users. It participates from this idea of generative art. Each NFT is completely unique, and there are certain attributes that give rise to rarities, which allow for interesting and nuanced game dynamics that people can come up with. And finally, it is entirely built around standards, and so it immediately can be extended by using all the available DeFi piping, plus any additional code that players may decide to build. So it's a game that it's extensible in nature. And we thought that these were really powerful concepts, and we decided to see if we could actually gamify the launch of the Kelly machine. And so let me show you how this works in detail. So we're going to take the entire code base of what we built: the smart contracts, the Web3 front end, the financial analytics, the auditing reports, the testing, the Jupyter Python scripts, the Streamlits Python scripts, everything that we've worked on for over a year, and we're going to store it in IPFS. But we're going to store it encrypted. And it's going to be encrypted with a very long password, okay? And we're going to take that password and we're going to break it into small pieces. You can think of them are like shards, okay? Shards of the overall secret. And then simultaneously, we're going to create this limited one-off collection of 10,000 NFTs that are going to celebrate this technical breakthrough around the Kelly machine. And what we're going to do is distribute these shards, all these pieces of secret, onto this community. And then something interesting will have happened at that point, which is that the password actually will be fully in the hands of the people, but at the same time, it will not yet be fully open sourced. It's still going to require one final step. And this is going to be a really important step. And that step is that the community must demonstrate that it has formed, that it has crystallized, and it has taken the step of actually revealing their password such that all the code can become open source. And I want to make the point that this step is actually also doable on-chain. So we've built this Web3 application that has a smart contract that allows you to submit your piece of the secret. Then the smart contract validates that the piece of the secret that you contributed is in fact authentic. And if you choose so, you can actually broadcast that secret, reveal that secret to the world. And when enough people do that, at that point, the password becomes fully completed, and then the code can finally see the day of light. And we think it's actually a pretty interesting symbolic moment, because it means that not only the code was open sourced, but it also means that a community was able to reach consensus around it. So you now have a fully available public good with a community around it. And in some sense, this, like we were saying earlier, this was our highest and most important goal. We wanted to launch in a way that avoided this issue of centralization. We didn't want our team to become the center of this. We wanted the community to be at the center of the project. And we believe that with this game, we accomplished that objective, and we actually create a community that is authentic, that can be verified, that has actual skin in the game, and therefore is well positioned to become the future stewards of the project and the code. Like we said, another really important design principle for us was we wanted to actually operate within a clear regulatory framework. And I'm happy to say that we presented this exact plan that we're now sharing with you guys. We presented it to 2 different regulators in Europe. We presented it in Estonia, and we presented it in Spain. And I actually want to say that we were surprised by the positive reception we had from these regulators and kind of the positive attitude they displayed and their recognition that this is valuable innovation that deserves to see the day of light. And there is a lot I could say about those interactions, but let me just summarize it really quickly into the things that we can do and the things that we cannot do. So here's what we can do. We can basically fix bugs. If after deploying the code, people add issues in GitHub, we can go and resolve them. We can continue working on new versions of the code. So we can continue dreaming about version 2 of Potion, which, by the way, we have pretty exciting ideas for, and that shouldn't be a problem. And we can also continue to do innovation in Web3 in general. If you notice, in fact, we've already shipped 2 products. One is the Kelly machine itself, and the second one is the Potion Unlock, which in and of itself is a product. And so within that, we can continue contributing to the Web3 community in this sense, and this is totally fine. What we cannot do is deploy the protocol. We cannot operate the protocol, and we cannot lead the protocol. So in some sense, what the regulator told us was, if you want to remain aside from all these liabilities, then you cannot become a central dependency to the project. It cannot be that the project wouldn't work without you. If it wouldn't work without you, then you are, in some sense, the protocol. And that may feel a little bit harsh at the beginning, but we actually think it's not so bad. Like, we think it would actually be a bad design if we were a central dependency. If we were a central dependency, then we would not be in keeping with decentralization. So in some sense, it's, I think, to the benefit of the project that we don't try and do everything. We do some pieces, and then if some people want to do other pieces, then that is up to them. And everybody contributes value in their unique way. That's what we feel decentralization is about. And we're grateful for the clarity that the regulators gave us. And so after all these conversations, it felt to us that we finally had found a way to operate a business for the long run. We can continue doing R&D on Web3. We think that we have a really talented team that has demonstrated can do pretty exciting stuff and around public goods. We can release it to the world, and then we can monetize it using native Web3 creator economic tools. And so we can basically finance ourselves whilst contributing public goods, which we think is not just a good outcome for us as a team, but hopefully a good outcome for dev teams in DeFi in general. And so in a few moments, I'm going to hand over to Aureliano. He's going to show us the actual app. But I just want to close this segment and hope that you guys can see these big, simple ideas The first one that we built in the spirit of contributing towards public goods, and that we were looking for something that was beneficial for the community, first and foremost. Secondly, that we will release through a game mechanic that we checked with financial authorities, who confirmed that it looked okay in principle, and that therefore allows us to create a sustainable business model around it. And in some sense, today is the first step towards this transition from Potion Labs into the community. And we hope it's also the first step towards a more sustainable building model for dev teams. And it feels like we finally accomplished to resolve and align all things in this Rubik's Cube. And I just wanted to give a shout out to two friends of the project and two friends of mine, Raul and Florian. They are a part of our legal team. We're incredibly lucky to have two permanent members that deal exclusively around legal items. And guys, we just wouldn't have been able to get here without you. Any team would feel privileged to have you. I know that we certainly do. So once again, guys, thank you so much. It wasn't easy, but I think in the end, we got there. And without more detail, I want to hand over to my friend and colleague, Aureliano Buendia. He's going to actually show us the web app that allows you to play the game. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Alpha Block. Fascinating explanation as usual, sir. And hey, everyone, I'm Aureliano. You guys know me from previous calls. I have the honor and privilege of leading the engineering team here at Potion. And I want to start today talking briefly about such team. These folks that basically built the Potion protocol. But not only that, as Alpha Block was introducing in the recent months, we've been very, very busy ideating, designing, and developing Potion Unlock. And we're super proud about the end result, really. It shows proof that we are a team with full capabilities for shipping high-quality Web3 products. And for me, it has been an extremely enriching and interesting process personally, and I want to publicly thank and acknowledge all of you, those who are still with us and those who already left the team. You're very talented human beings, so thank you again, guys. Focusing now on my agenda for today, I could really talk for hours about dozens of technical things regarding Potion Unlock, really. But I want to use my very limited time now to discuss three main points, basically. One, I want to provide people with a motivation for the Web3 architecture that we use in Potion Unlock. So what's the story behind its ideation, why we decided to build it in the way we did, and what were the design constraints that we were subject to. Then I will switch gears and get into the user journey of the Web3 app that we have prepared for Potion Unlock. Here I will just be getting into the practical aspects of using the app to play the Unlock game from the perspective of a user. So that should be fun and easy to follow. And finally, I want to go through some considerations about what you could call the game theory behind Potion Unlock, but a very mild and high level. As you'll see, these game theoretical aspects are actually a critical point of the whole launch mechanics we're presenting today. So without more preamble, I'm jumping straight into my first point, which is architecture motivation. Our fundamental objective, in a sense, may seem simple from the surface. It is basically making the Potion protocol code open source. And you could say, well, Aureliano, that's trivial. You could just have published the code in GitHub and attributed a public domain license to it and be done with it. So what's the catch? What's the problem here? That we also want to build a community around the protocol in the process of open sourcing it. And we want to monetize some of the incredible value we're producing as a team and as a company. And that's the part that is not trivial, obviously. And it gets even more complicated if, due to the restrictive regulatory environment, turns out that we couldn't issue a security token, an ERC20 token, basically, in one hand, and we couldn't lead the community in the other, in the process of building, for example, a DAO around the protocol. These are basically the same restrictions Alpha Block was talking about a few moments ago, and we took them very seriously from the dev team. And I'm glad to say we found a very simple but powerful solution to this conundrum. It's trustless gamification of the open sourcing process on the Ethereum network and using NFTs. So let's take a look into how this solution looks like from a technical perspective. To embody the gamification aspects, to produce the seed of the game, we basically encrypt the protocol's code base. And then we leave up to the community task of decrypting such code base. In fact, by encrypting the code using a very long password, we can split the password into 10,000 fragments and somehow distribute each of them to different participants in the game. In addition, in order to provide on-chain identity and agency to these participants, we realized we had to create 10,000 NFTs also, and somehow associate each password fragment to an NFT, and this is the key. And here note that this association of the password fragment and NFT needs to be secure, because the password fragment should only be accessible to its NFT owner. We realized that to do so, we had to resort to asymmetric cryptography. And in fact, using MetaMask, we designed a single-click experience where we can distribute securely the password fragments to participants and still keep a beautifully simple UX. So the final question is, how are participants going to reveal their secret password fragments to each other? And in particular, how can they do so trustlessly? Well, we created this Validator smart contract AlphaBlock was talking about that in the end is simply using a Merkle proof to validate that your password fragment is original. In this way, the Validator smart contract gives participants a way to prove to others on-chain that their password fragment is authentic. At the same time, it provides a single source of truth where the password fragments can be accumulated every time someone reveals until the whole complete password is revealed and it's publicly available on-chain. And at that point, anyone is able to decrypt and access the protocol's code base. And thus, we have achieved the original objective of the game, but with all the technical requirements covered. Great, so we made it through the first point in my agenda. Let's now move into the next topic, which is the potion unlock user journey. After this previous section, which was fairly technical, and I want to simplify the whole thing 10 times for you, and make a very simple and explicit description of what participants of Potion Unlock can expect to do during the game process. So in sequential order, we have these 5 steps that every participant needs to go through. You basically need to start by whitelisting yourself through an onboarding process we've created. And I'll tell you more about why we need this step in a second. Then you just proceed to mint your NFTs. As we will explain later on, some people will be able to mint them for free, and some people will go through a public auction to do so. After minting, you need to claim your secret password fragments. And finally, when you're ready and willing to do so, you have to reveal your password fragment using the Validator smart contract I was just talking about. And finally, once all password fragments are revealed, anyone will be able to unlock the Potion protocol. And for this, they will need to use a simple script that we will provide in GitHub. And now I will go a little bit deeper into each of these steps so you get a feeling of what to expect from them. So regarding the whitelist step, the reason why we need to make you go through an onboarding process is twofold. One, and essential for this game to be successful, is to prevent malicious attacks, right? For example, to prevent bots from overtaking the game or any bad stuff like this to happen, you need to use something like that. Because since we have a whitelist of each of you, we can uniquely identify participants. The second reason, which is more mundane but not least important for our compliance strategy, is to recover some basic data from NFT buyers. We are a European company, and according to the European VAT directive, we need to have enough data from buyers to issue them an invoice for the NFTs they may purchase. And here I want you guys to understand that this data collection process is not a KYC process, right? Because we won't be validating your identity through a real KYC process unless some of the data we collect from a potential NFT buyer is clearly contradictory or suspicious. An example of that would be putting Donald Duck in the name or indicating a country of residence that is in a gray list. For example, if Mr. Duck lives in Cayman Islands, it's likely we will ask him to verify his identity documentation using a KYC provider before getting whitelisted. But for the vast majority of the people, none of this won't be the case. So as I was saying, there will be no KYC or ID verification for them in order to enter the minting whitelist. Finally, in the onboarding process, we will ask you to provide a MetaMask wallet. This is fundamental. It will be the one that we will whitelist for the game. So note that all of this onboarding process will be done through a dedicated Web2 app that we have built and that is becoming available and open to anyone today. We will share the link, and guys, I encourage you to go through the process today or as soon as possible. Really, this is very important if you want to participate in the Potion Unlock game by buying NFTs in the public auction. Okay, so now jump into the main 4 steps of the unlock game, which are basically minting your NFT, claiming your secret, revealing the secret, and unlocking the protocol's code. The main message here is that we have a dedicated Web3 application for these steps. We've put a ton of love and effort, thought, and human-centric design when developing this, and we hope you like the app and enjoy the process of using it. We want this to be a nice self-contained Web3 experience for you. And actually, some of you have already tested this with us, and we believe you had a good fun. So just as a practical note, let me mention that you will need to bring some ETH to the party, obviously to pay for the gas of minting the NFTs and also validating your secret. Mainly because these are the 2 steps that require interaction with our smart contracts, and thus you will need to pay some gas to the network. And finally, just a point before closing this, all the steps of the app will require you to use a vanilla MetaMask address, which has to be the same one that you whitelisted in the onboarding process. So use the same vanilla MetaMask in all the steps of the app. And also very important, you cannot use hardware wallets such as Ledger connected through a MetaMask. And the reasons for these conditions are basically in what I mentioned earlier about the cryptographic elements of the game and the cryptographic features that only MetaMask provide in a battle-proof and user-friendly way, at least currently and to the best of our knowledge. So last point in my agenda, I want now to jump into some game theoretical considerations of the unlock game. I'll make this very brief, but is nonetheless extremely important, I think. The first consideration is that, the revealing of your secret password fragments is a single most important step in the game. Basically because, in short, your secret is your leverage in the game. When you reveal it, you kind of lose it in a sense. And also, on the same line, the secret won't be transferable. So if you mint an NFT, only the original minter will be able to receive that secret, that password fragment. So for the second point, the question is, what happens if not everyone decides to reveal their password fragment? Well, to facilitate the resolution of the game, we have added redundancy in the secret fragment distribution. So the same password fragment might be shared between 2 or more participants, basically, and that's what we call redundancy. For push and unlock, redundancies will range from 2 to more than 100. And this way, we ensure that a relatively low threshold of revealing participation is required in order for the code to be unlocked effectively. Which leads me to the third point. We wanted to spice up the game and make it come more alive by introducing heterogeneous powers, what we call rarities, across participants. The way to do so was simply by associating password fragments of different lengths to different types of NFTs. And in addition, the redundancy parameter I have just mentioned before is also heterogeneous across different types of NFTs. So depending on its rarity, the secret associated with an NFT might be shared with more or less participants. And in my final point, I just want to mention that we built Potion Unlock with modularity in mind, so that anyone in the community can build new game rules and mechanics on top of the Web3 architecture we have developed and deployed. The smart contracts can be built on top, and participants may find and develop ways to motivate and coordinate themselves on chain to get the game resolved. And we certainly encourage that. And on this, a quick note to those of you OGs that are techie and Web3 savvy, I'm very happy to announce that we will be open sourcing the code behind Potion Unlock to encourage people building such new rules so that they can happily conclude the game or replicate new games altogether. But we will do so progressively. Some parts will be published this week, like the interfaces to the smart contracts, and some others will need to wait until we close the public sale of NFTs for security reasons mainly. And guys, this concludes my part. I hope I convince you that we achieved this objective I talked about in the beginning of gamifying the open sourcing of the Potion protocol and bringing a vibrant community around it in the process. And I also wish you share with me the sentiment that we landed in a very high quality product, combining fun, game theory, and Web3 technology. So all the things that we love. The app is waiting for you. We're super proud about it, and we hope you like it very much. Thanks for your attention. And now I'm passing the ball now to Malandra J, our beloved lead designer, who I think has some really nice visual goodies for all of you.
Thank you, Aureliano. Hi, everyone. Glad to see you all there. I'm Malandra J, design lead in Potion, and today I'm really pleased to introduce you our NFT design. We will talk about things that inspired us, challenges we faced, and how the NFT looks like, and how decode its language. So I'd like to start from the foundations. So we were in late August, and we were approaching the idea of doing a product launch via NFT. The moment in the space was really hot, and many NFT projects were getting popularity with their brilliant design and bringing a lot of value in the space. And here there are some inspirational vibes that we have taken along the way. The first one was Loot, that impressed with its new concept of generative characters distributed to a community in order to enable infinite possible game on top. Then Chromie Squiggle from Artblocks that showed infinite ways to empower art by generative code applied to visual design. Other key inspiration for me was data visualization art, which is a type of art dedicated to gather big amount of data, translating them into a visual symbol in order to make the people able to read them over the pure numbers. And finally, there was a DAO called City DAO with a strong mission about digital citizenship that purchased a land in Wyoming and created digital NFT passports in order to become citizen of this land, acquiring future benefits. So all these projects helped us questioning about some key challenges we wanted to include in our NFT project. So the first big question was how create uniqueness and sense of place for our community? What could be a fair representation of heterogeneity and membership for an NFT? The second question was how use our tech to create art. We committed a really complex mathematical tech that could be hard to get for non-financial people. And third question, the most difficult one for me, how shape this data, making them flowing in a single frame with consistency. So all these questions were solved and they have driven us to this concept. And today I'm really excited to unveil for the very first time the Potion Unlock NFT. This artwork is a piece of art for us, and it sums up all the artwork we have done since the hackathon where we started the project. Next slide, please. Yeah, next slide. Okay. We can figure out either way, technical and philosophical side. On technical, it is a generative artwork made with a node script that takes data from our training calculations, manipulates the SVG image, and store it on IPFS to ensure full decentralization. From a philosophical standpoint, it is a symbolic representation of what Potion Labs achieved with its DeFi commitment and celebrates a new way of community bootstrap. Let's take a look to the artwork. So each artwork visually encodes a unique insurance contract with real data. It represents different attributes with a set of visual signs that combined create a unique esoteric symbol, and we will discover them in a second. Further to that, each NFT artwork embodies the custodian of the secreted password that the community will acquire. It is symbolized by a cryptographic rune alphabet that keeps authenticity, such as a watermark. Now, I want to deep dive into some particular aspects of the artwork and how read them. So the core side shows the three main attributes an insurance option must have. And these are the covered asset, the strike price, and the duration. So the colored symbol in the middle stands for the covered asset, and we managed to get up to 35 assets chosen for their reputation and impact in the market, while the two combined circles give visual info regarding the value set for the strike price and the duration. It's important to highlight that uniqueness is also given by the strong math provided by the Kali machine. So each artwork shows two crucial factors. Top and bottom aim to provide info about the period of training of the bonding curve. The top side shows curves, and they are the number of years. So each curve represents one year, while the bottom side shows the amount of months are active with the solid lines. To support this, we display the 4 parameters, which are the actual values set on the Kali machine. Now let's look at the last 2 missing aspects. As said before, each NFT is protecting a secreted password chunk that is displayed with the rune alphabet printed in the background. I would highlight that each displayed pattern is really unique, and it stands for the encrypted fragment you are owning. And also naming is generated dynamically, taking the data from the insurance contract and determining funny combinations. The main rule here is the higher the duration, the larger is the vessel, while the higher the strike price, the stronger the elixir will be. Let me double click on this concept. So in this case, this NFT has this name, Goblet of BTC Syrup. Goblet and syrup are part of a set of words all around containers and drinks, representing a particular ranges of durations and strike prices. On the left box, we have a duration set to 8 days that is short, and so the represented object is a small container. Vice versa, if the duration is 60 days on the right box, the container would be something bigger, such as a cauldron. Same for the word syrup on the left. On the left, it is set to 68%, but when increasing to the maximum, it becomes an elixir. We have also created a set of different rarities that distribute different skin in the game for players. Rarities allow Potion to create a complete new metaverse that gives identity and citizenship to the player. They are shaped with different colors and backgrounds, but also different attributes such as decryption, power, and redundancy that define your role in the Potion Unlock game. Also, it has to be remarked the opportunity of infinite possible games that can be built on top, following the attribute scheme and the roles. So to conclude, rarities are the way we managed to build a new town in DeFi, and all of you will be called to play your role for the benefit of the community. Now, let me zoom out a little bit. So what we have done, what we created is a book of 10,000 insurance recipes. They are part of a unique collection that celebrate the technology breakthrough we achieved, and we want to celebrate with you, actually. And definitely, this is an innovative way to bootstrap a DeFi community with NFT technology. I'd like to close this journey showing how we solved the 3 key challenges I showed before. So first one, we created a book of 10,000 metaverse identities that create uniqueness and roles in the community. We made an NFT that combines art, technology, and math to celebrate our research and development. And finally, we found a smooth way to represent complex data with visual design fitting perfectly our brand mission. That's all for me. Thank you. Hope you enjoy it. And now I will hand over to Snoop.
Thank you so much, Melandra J. Hello, everyone. My name is Snoo. I'm the project manager for Potion. It's really great to have you all here. So thank you so much for joining us. Up till now, you've had a recap of the Potion Labs journey you've had a walkthrough of the Potion Unlock game mechanics, and you've actually seen the amazing artwork itself. So now I'm going to tell you the different ways by which you can participate, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Potion Unlock public auction, the different players in this game, and finally the model that we've designed to achieve this idea of aggressive decentralization. Now, from the start, it's been really important to us that we hand over Potion to a thriving and robust community that I suppose that they're going to become reliable custodians of the source code and take it forward to the next stage. So to foster the beginnings of that community, we've created 2 paths for you to participate in Potion Unlock 22, and you could take one, the other, or even both. The first is the contribute to play path. We really wanted to open this experience up to everyone. So this path is going to be free from cost to all of you, but it does require your contribution to the Potion community in order to earn your NFTs. The second is pay to play. Now this path involves purchasing NFTs through the Potion Unlock public auction. We're going to go into this in a bit more detail later, but this really gives you an opportunity to put some skin in the game and truly buy into the Potion community. So with that, let's dig into contribute to play. In this path, there are going to be 3 options: early support, input, and awareness. The first option here refers to those of you that have been with us on the ride up until now, our illustrious Potion OGs. I want to take the time on behalf of the team to thank you all for everything that you've done up until this point. I think it's safe to say that the contribution of the Potion OGs has been both surprising and also humbling to all of us. You know, when there was no hint of promise or reward, you guys still gave your time more generously than any of us could have expected. And your enthusiasm, it really kept us going through the tough times. So we just wanted to thank you again and repay your generosity by making the OGs a keystone of the Potion community going forward. With that being said, for those of you that are newer to Potion, welcome. And there are still ways by which you can contribute to the community and become a Potion OG with our other 2 options in the contribute to play model. The next one we have here is input. This involves actively participating through Discord to engage in discussions, to share your ideas, and generally create a buzzing community that we all want to be a part of. But we also want to encourage you to make your own path here. You know, you can look around and analyze what's missing from the community, suggest improvements, and actually provide improvements. And if you're genuinely enriching the environment, you can be rewarded with NFTs. The last option we have here is awareness. We're going to be launching a variety of project awareness challenges over the coming weeks, and the aim of these is to raise wider awareness of the project and onboard more great people like yourselves to the community. Now, I'm excited to say that you can actually get involved in one of these challenges now. We want you to go ahead and prefix your Twitter handle with the Potion Unlock avatars that we have here, and send a tweet describing what you are most excited about from the Potion Unlock community call. Please make sure you tag at Potion Labs, and the first 100 people to do this and fill out a form which will be posted in the announcements channel after the call, they'll be able to mint an OG token. So please get involved as soon as you can on that, guys. It's another opportunity to earn an NFT. You can also see here that we've got a couple of other awareness challenges in the pipeline. We will be sharing more information about these in due course, so please keep an eye on Discord for that. Before we move on to the next participation path, I want to mention another way in which we're going to be onboarding strong community members. We're actually going to be whitelisting a cohort of really experienced players by airdropping an allocation of OG NFTs to some of the most active participants from relevant protocols such as DYDX, Uniswap, Hedgic, and also some of the most active DAOs like Badger DAO, Stake DAO, Keeper DAO, and others. To explain how we're doing this at a high level, we've conducted some on-chain analysis to identify and pull the most active addresses on these protocols and projects, and we're going to be whitelisting these addresses. They're going to have a specific airdrop window where they'll have to come to the Potion Unlock app and mint their tokens. This is going to be done on a first come, first served basis, and there's going to be a limited supply for them. Now, these are individuals that we know are active in the space, and bringing them on board can only be a benefit. We're going to really bolster the ranks of the Potion community with some sophisticated players here. So that covers the contribute to play paths. Now we move on to the pay to play path. With this option, you can effectively buy into the Potion community and really have some skin in the game by purchasing some NFTs. We're going to be making 3 rarities available for the public auction. These are the Fellowship, Advanced, and Legendary rarities. Each one will have its own auction period, and they will run consecutively, one after the other. We've really tried to find a balance here with the starting prices of these NFTs so that more casual players and more serious players can all find an entry point that suits their budget. So the entry level is the Fellowship. That's going to be starting at 5,000 USDC. The mid-level is the Advanced rarity, starting at 15,000 USDC. And then finally, we have the super rare legendary NFTs, which are going to be starting at 50,000 USDC. The auction itself is going to run in a Dutch style auction. So for those of you that don't know, this means that the price will start at the prices that we have listed on screen, and it's going to reduce throughout the auction period. Now, what does this mean? It means that for each auction, it will almost certainly sell out. If you want one of these NFTs, we would encourage you to get in as early as possible. We do anticipate a high demand for these, so there's a risk of missing out if you wait too long and try and scoop them up on the cheap. With that, everyone, I'm really pleased to announce that the public auction will begin with the Fellowship rarity on the 28th of February. So that's not long to wait. It's just 2 weeks away. We anticipate that each auction will run for a few days for each rarity, depending on demand. But please stay up to date with the auction schedule through Discord. We'll be posting updates on the announcements channel so you can get the latest there. The onboarding for the public auction is going to go live after this call. So we would encourage you to go ahead and get yourself whitelisted straight away so that you're ready for when the auction begins. We're really excited about this, guys. Everything that's gone into this has been made with a lot of passion, and we cannot wait to see you guys getting involved. Now, in addition to public sale, we've also held and already closed a very successful private sale phase. The idea of this was to further strengthen the Potion community by onboarding some really sophisticated and experienced individuals and entities. You can see from some of the logos that we've got here that we've had some very high demand from some very high quality buyers. The private sale itself was actually oversubscribed and we had to turn down buyers in the end. But the benefit of this is that we've been able to really handpick individuals and entities that we can see adding a huge amount of value to the community. These people are going to be able to use their influence across the space to properly bang the drum for Potion, and they're also going to be able to contribute their deep knowledge and experience in the space to make the community as strong as possible going forward. And for us, guys, this has been a real kind of tangible confirmation to us that the Potion project is being taken seriously and it's going to go on to accomplish amazing things. I think we're really in good company here, and I want to say thank you again to any of those on the call that were actually part of the private sale phase. Okay. Now onto the game parameters. You can see on the screen here that we have 2 graphs. On the left, you have the NFT supply, and on the right, you have the percentage of the secret and how it's distributed among the different types of players. You can see that we've got a variety of different players in the game, and we have balanced this so that the players with the most skin in the game hold the biggest proportion of the secret. The exception here being the OGs, who of course have no financial skin in the game, but have a significant amount of supply and secret. Again, to just reiterate this, we really want the OGs to continue to be linchpins in this community. And as such, they've been rewarded for their input with this model. We've also tried to balance this so that no group holds a majority of supply or secret. You can see that the wise wizards have a lot of skin in the game and therefore a lot of secret, but they are kept in check by the public sale participants and the OGs, who together make up a majority of the power. Now, as we said, guys, this is going to be truly decentralized from the start, and we've made sure that is the case with this model. So we're really excited about the next few weeks, and I hope you guys are too. We've been through the different ways in which you can participate. We've dived deeper into the auction and how that's going to work, and you've been introduced to the company that you're going to have as part of the potion community. Finally, we've been through the game parameters and the different types of players in the game. Now with that, I'm going to hand back over to our CEO, Alpha Block, to wrap up the call for us.
Thank you so much, Nu. So we're now entering the final segment of the presentation, and we actually have some final surprise announcement to make, as well as covering the immediate next steps after this call. But first, we've covered a lot today, so I want to do like an incredibly brief recap. We started the presentation talking about our motivations and how we are inspired by the idea of contributing high quality public goods that are community centric, that are compliant, and that are sustainable. We've looked at a Web3 application that allows us to complete the entire journey from minting all the way through to decryption in a way that is fully trustless. We have seen some beautiful and exciting designs. Guys, this was no easy feat to turn an insurance contract into an NFT. And I don't think we would have managed it without Malandra J. So kudos again, sir. And hopefully you saw the deep symbolism and how we managed to celebrate this technical breakthrough that we accomplished with different rarities and powers that also allowed us to play an exciting game. And finally, we've just seen how we have parameterized the game with different parameters for supply and for secret, hoping to reach like a good balance between the known and the unknown players of the community, hopefully giving birth to something vibrant that can be strong and successful for the long run. And so when you put all of this together, you end up with a really interesting game that is social at the core, that is long-term sustainable, and that creates a community to take the project forward. And with that, guys, I don't know if people were expecting this, but I'm incredibly excited to say that the game is now live. This is a really exciting moment for us. Like we were saying, it marks an important milestone. It's the milestone where everything that we've done starts being transitioned to the community, to you guys here in the call. Most of you are OGs or will become OGs. So congratulations to all of you that have made it into the game. So let's talk about a quick few calls to action. Like, what do we do after this? So step one, I think I have been told that during the call we have enabled our onboarding app. So you can find your way to onboarding.potion.auction and register yourself. I'm also really excited to say that not only can people start onboarding, but actually OGs can start minting their NFTs. So guys, you're going to be the first ones having original and authentic Potion Unlock NFTs as early as this evening. So incredibly excited about this. And then I also want to say that later this week, that people that participated as Kelly Knights or Wise Wizards, they will also start having minting windows. You can also do that through Potion.auction, and we will obviously keep you updated on Discord. And then we will have the fellowship auction starting Monday in 2 weeks. So that feels like a little bit of a long way away, but it's going to be here before we know it. And so I actually wanted to say that we've already distributed almost like 50% of the supply. And so I wanted to introduce the Wise Wizards to the Kelly Knights and the OGs, and vice versa. It's incredibly exciting, guys, to have you as part of this community. And we still have about 50% of the items to distribute. So if you're not a part of one of these NFT holders, it's not too late. You can still be a part of it. And I'm incredibly excited to announce that we were able to complete this private sale and were able to raise $12 million by the people that wanted to participate in this game. And hopefully, guys, this goes to show the level of commitment that we have from these very serious players, as well as how much skin in the game they have. And if you combine this with the amazing OG members, hopefully you can agree that while the game has only started, it does so already with like an incredible collection of people in the community. But like I was saying, that's only half of the way. We only have 50% of the NFTs already with owners. And so there is still a chance to welcome new people. And we're really excited to finally meet the rest of participants. And now, speaking of this auction, I want to take a couple of moments to share a couple of disclaimers that are really important. The first one is that this is an open-ended game in nature. And so there is no one solution that's predefined. So the game here is not to figure out what is the solution that we came up in our heads. The challenge here is to come up with your own solution, right? And this comes with its own challenges. It basically means that there are scenarios where the community doesn't achieve consensus. You know, maybe some people lose the password, some people don't want to reveal. There are some scenarios in which this can happen. Our ultimate goal, as we've been saying over and over, is to contribute knowledge to the community. And so we basically are going to reserve the right to actually reveal the password if we end up in some of these deadlocks where people are starting to lose interest in the game and time is passing by. And in that scenario, which we don't expect to happen, we may actually facilitate the unwinding. Once again, let me underline, we don't think that's going to happen, but we want to be incredibly transparent that this scenario may emerge. The second point I want to make is that these NFTs are not an investment. They're not financial instruments. They don't give you rights to anything. They're just a digital collectible that celebrate the breakthrough around the Kelly machine. So please do not participate in the game because you're expecting to make a quick profit. Do not participate because you think that you're buying the code or buying the protocol. It's none of that. It's just an NFT. It's a symbolic digital representation. Please buy them if you see the value in the Kelly criterion, if you believe in Web3 public goods, and if you want to support the team. And then finally, just bear in mind that this piece of software in particular may require licensing before it's operated. So we don't know what people will do with the code. We don't know if it's going to be taken for academic purposes or commercial uses, or a DAO is going to take it. We just ask you to keep in mind that you should do your own legal due diligence before considering deploying the code. And so we really hope that this is clear, guys. For us, it's super important that people don't feel misled. We realize this is a new mechanic, and so we really want to be transparent about what we can and cannot do and how things work. Okay, so now that this is out of the way, like I was saying, the game is on, guys. I hope that you're getting the feeling that you're now playing in the game. We're entering a new phase. And so we encourage you to start being strategic. This is a game, and there are winning outcomes and there are losing outcomes. So if you want to win, then you need to start thinking about how you get there. The immediate next step that we have is the auction. And after that, once we've completed the auction, the next step is going to be to decrypt the code. And if we're successful, then the Kelly machine becomes a public good. And the point that we want to make here is that if you're thinking strategically, if you want to bring the game to conclusion, then one thing that you should start thinking about is how can we build the best community possible? How can we attract community members that are going to be helpful in this process and helpful for the long run? The ones we've made this into a public good can become strong stewards and help make the fate of this project the best possible. And so in some sense, kind of the destiny of this game depends on all of us. It's no longer just a matter of the Potion Labs team. It's now a matter for the whole community. In some sense, we have begun the transition from the Potion Labs team to the community, to a decentralized community. And so now it's your chance to contribute yourself to make it grow and make it be the best version of itself. And so we hope that you see yourself as a steward of the project, and to the extent that you think this is valuable for everybody and you enjoy kind of the vibe in the community and the way we're doing things, that you spread the love and let other people who may be valuable come and contribute. And finally, we wanted to finish with an important message, which is to encourage you guys to make the most of decentralization. And decentralization is a really deep philosophical change. And one of the key tenets is that it allows people to empower themselves, to move away from hierarchies where people are waiting for somebody else to tell them what to do, into a new paradigm where people can do what they want, directly. And so we encourage you guys to take the destiny into your own hands, to organize yourselves, to start making proposals and governing yourself, and basically take the reins of the project and the protocol. Fundamentally, this is what Potion Unlock is about. It's about transitioning all the work that we've done into a public good and into the hands of a community. That's into your hands, guys. You're our community. And so today, guys, was the very first step in that direction, the very first step to the transition to the community. We're incredibly excited about where you guys, together with the people that are going to join the community, will take this. We're incredibly excited about the game. We cannot wait to see what strategies you will deploy and hopefully how we will get to successful decryption. And so with these guys, in the current format, we cannot do a Q&A here live, but we encourage everyone to join our Discord right now and to throw your questions over there. And the team will be there to answer your questions. And so, guys, I hope this was of interest. We wish you all the very best. Be safe, have fun, and happy unlocking, everyone. Thank you so much for your attention.